Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Right now, at both locations of Team Honda, the Dream Deal sales event is now even better. For a limited time, get 0% financing on a great selection of certified Hondas. The savings are yours at Team Honda on Segan Lane in Baton Rouge and Team Honda of Acadiana on I-49 just south of Opelousas.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Welcome as we start the Tuesday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Here's hoping all is well with you and yours in your chilly little slice of South Louisiana heaven since the last opportunity we had to spend some time with you and yours. We start today's show, as we typically do, with Louisiana news and a tragedy. The Gonzales Police Department reporting 17-year-old, and I hope I don't butcher the name too bad, Makai Darville of Sorrento, caught up in a social media feud between two groups of high school students. According to police, this young man was not involved in the feud, not involved in the fight that occurred outside a gas station, but instead was trying to be the mediator in this feud, trying to calm both groups down, stop them from fighting, and according to law enforcement, that was what led to him being targeted by one of the groups. Parents, I know that it is not popular, and I know for many of you, it is not a subject or a practice that is comfortable for you. But we've got to know what our kids are doing on social media. This is sadly not the first time, and if the trend continues, it won't be the last time where our young people have poor or no conflict resolution skills. At the end of the day, this is simply a matter of someone writing / posting something online, and now an individual, 17 years of age, looking forward to graduating from high school, had nothing to do with the feud, is now dead. Hopefully, it is something. Gwen Shamlin, Clarence Bugs, I will call you back. I'm on air, my friend. Live TV. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. It is such a horrific circumstance. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the family. And law enforcement says they expect to make arrests real soon in this case. Again, parents, you got to know what your kids are doing on social media, because as horrific as this incident is, just imagine how much worse it will be if we find out that it's something that, had parents been aware of what their kids were posting on social media, could have been stopped. Just an observation. In other Louisiana news, 3+ years later, we still have no resolution in the horrific beating death of Ronald Green at the hands of state police. The legislative committee charged with looking into this held their most recent meeting yesterday, and Governor John Bel Edwards, a no-show. His executive council, a no-show, saying that because of short notice, there were obligations we had already committed to, meetings, things of that nature, that they couldn't get out of. I want to take the governor and his executive council at their word, but this has gone long enough, y'all. This has gone not just long enough, far too long. I don't know, and I guess this is my homework before the next show, if this committee has subpoena power or not. But if they do, it is time to subpoena Governor John Bel Edwards and his executive council to testify before the committee. Enough's enough, y'all. At this juncture, the family of Ronald Green and the citizenry of Louisiana deserve better. There's no two ways about it. To continue this horrific, horrible episode this many years later is unacceptable. Again, I don't know if the committee has subpoena power or not, but if they do, it is long past time that they exercise it. That family deserves better. Under the best of circumstances, they would deserve better. Not to mention something as horrific as this incident. And when all is said and done, the family deserves better, but you and I deserve better. We'll keep an eye on it, and hopefully the committee will decide that, you know, we've waited long enough. Enough's enough. It's time we do something about this. Finally, in Louisiana news, it happened right after we left air last week. The Secretary of the Department of Children and Family Services, Marquita Walters, resigning, saying early on that she had no intention of resigning after the latest death of a toddler due to a fentanyl overdose in our state. You know, it occurred to me last night after reviewing this story that it is truly a sad commentary that the legislature and others, the quote, powers that be, are not more incensed about a second toddler dying from a fentanyl overdose. And it occurred to me, maybe part of the reason why there is not more outrage has something to do with the fact that if we are realistic about this, the second fentanyl overdose in our state of a toddler, at some point, if we were realistic about this, we would have to entertain the fentanyl problem in our country. And if we were to do that, we also then would have to look at how it's getting here. And of course, we all know the overwhelming majority of it is coming across our southern border. So if the powers that be were serious about this, they would have to call on the Biden-Harris administration to do something about our absolutely horrifically porous southern border. At the end of the day, these children didn't use fentanyl. These children weren't selling or pushing fentanyl. They were casualties of the actions of adults. Now, you know your buddy Clarence. I am, to the bone, diehard conservative. And I am one of those that believes in the government keeping its grubby little fingers out of my pocket and its dirty little nose out of my business. But the fact of the matter is, our government is allowing this stuff to flood across our border. Now, Clarence, how can you say it's a flood? Well, last year, for the first time in the history of our country, 107,000 of our fellow Americans died from an overdose. The overwhelming majority related directly to fentanyl. So if we're realistic and serious about stopping the deaths of children in this country, then we have to look realistically at the problem at our southern border. And you know, when all is said and done, I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, black, white, Latino, Asian American, Native American, whatever. These are children, y'all. And at the rate we're going now, as sad a commentary as it is about a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old dying from a fentanyl overdose, at the rate we're going, you better get used to it, because it's going to happen again. God knows in his infinite wisdom, I hope I am 100% wrong. But the fact of the matter is, if you're realistic about this, the next one probably won't be that far down the road. When all is said and done, y'all, this is something that should not have happened. This is something that could have very, very easily been prevented. But when you start playing politics and allowing politics to dictate certain things, this is what you end up with. Fact of the matter is, whether you are Democrat or Republican, black or white, gay, straight, whatever, you should be demanding that the federal government do something about our situation at the southern border. How many more babies are going to have to die from something they had absolutely nothing to do with before those in charge are going to do better? Personally, I think it will only happen as long as regular, ordinary Americans don't stand up and demand better. First break of today's show. When we come back, Tuesday, second segment, you know what that means, right? Yep, time for another edition of Now That's Just Stupid. That's next when we continue today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Hey everybody, I'm Kevin Gallagher. This is Roy Fletcher. We hope you'll join us for Fletch Nation, especially if you like talking politics.
Hey, come and join us. We'll give you the information, and then we'll give you the context. And by the way, we'll give you fun too.
Lots of fun. We hit the local races, the state. We even look at what's going on all across America. And by the way, this space is available. If you'd like to talk about advertising, send your emails to Roy Fletcher at royfletcher.com and join us every week here on the Pelican for Fletch Nation.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Make the most of every moment together in a 3-row Mazda CX-9. Find yours during the season of inspiration.
Make no payments for 90 days on a new CX-9 during the season of inspiration at Team Mazda.
Hi, gang. Clarence Bugs here, inviting you to come by Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, where we tape the show live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 o'clock. Come by and feast on news, sports, current events, love of God and country, and lots of common sense, along with some of the best barbecue anywhere on the planet. 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Old School Barbecue, home of the Clarence Bugs Show.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Welcome back to the Tuesday edition of the Clarence Bugs Show. It is, of course, the second segment. And for those of you that may not be aware, we dedicate the second segment of every Tuesday show to the ever-increasing level of stupidity in our country. You know, in recent memory, we have seen more and more things happen that just leave you scratching your head. And you also wonder how it is that things of this nature have only started to pop up in recent memory. My generation, my parents' generation, there's no way on God's green earth this sort of stuff would happen. But that's a different show for a different day. Now, understand, keep in mind, we're not talking regular, ordinary, everyday stupid. We're talking stupid to the level where we had to come up with a new word. You'll notice, actually it's not a new word, it's a new spelling. Not S-T-U-P-I-D, regular, everyday stupid. We're talking S-T-O-O-P-I-D, as in, now that's just stupid. We start with something that is not just stupid, but it is so insulting that it defies the imagination. You've all seen in recent memory the whole big transgender movement in the country. We see it in our schools, how educators, and I use that term very, very loosely, are instructing our kids that, well, yeah, you may have this genitalia, but you can be the other gender. And of course, now, what is it, Marty? As of late, 60-some genders now that they're up to, speaking of stupid. But this one, story out of New Hampshire. A beauty pageant there, affiliated, by the way, with the Miss America pageants. The Miss Greater Dairy 2023. D-E-R-R-Y, not D-A-I-R-Y. Miss Dairy 2023 in New Hampshire. The winner of this Miss America affiliated pageant, Miss America, Miss America, Miss, M-I-S-S, America. Jonathan, show the people who won the Miss Dairy 2023 pageant. Can you see this, y'all? A dude. As a matter of fact, dude didn't even change his name. Brian Nguyen, crowned as the winner. Now, I don't know what's more stupid or more insulting, that Brian won the Miss Dairy 2023 pageant, or this picture right here on your screen, that all the female contestants would pose for a picture celebrating a fat, ugly dude winning the Miss Dairy 2023 beauty pageant. Y'all, if we don't stop this crap sometime soon, our country is in a world of trouble. You have to ask yourself, how is it, why is it that these folks wouldn't have dared try some crap like this while baby boomers were running the show? You have to ask, how is it, why is it that they wouldn't dare attempt some foolishness like this during the era of the greatest generation, the World War II generation? Now, you can probably talk to some folks that would say, well, Clarence, you got to understand, those people, your generation, the greatest generation, they weren't enlightened at this point. No, we weren't stupid like they are now. And the fact that these women would sit there skinning and grinning, smiling and profiling with this clown as the winner of the Miss Dairy pageant pretty much tells you everything you need to know. Speaking of things that you have to wonder how it is all of a sudden now this becomes acceptable. Public school system in Maryland unveiling this week a list of LGBTQ books that teachers are encouraged to use, using words such as intersex and drag queen, get this, to pre-K students. You know, I understand it's a different day. I get that. This right here tells you what you need to know. But whatever happened to teaching kids reading, writing, arithmetic, making sure they are physically fit, PE? Whatever happened to that? Get this. The school system there, stupid just knows no bounds. The school system there put out the list of books pre-K teachers are encouraged to use a book, the LGBTQ plus words for cisgender, gender binary, transgender, pansexual, and queer for pre-K students. You know, at some point, we as Americans, and as the, quote, adults in the room, we better wake the hell up and start demanding change. Because it should be obvious by now that these folks will not stop unless they are forced to. We're talking pre-K students. And they're not talking about one book. They unveiled a list of books that they recommend be used for pre-K through 6th grade. You see what they're doing in your name? Take a guess. The people that are pushing this, take a wild guess. What party do you think they are associated with? You think they're Democrats or Republicans? How do these people describe themselves? Are they conservatives or are they liberals? You see what they do in your name? What they do. There you go. All of these folks that are pushing this sort of stuff, pretty much guaranteed, they're all Democrats. Yeah, but Clarence, I didn't vote for that, but you voted for Democrats. And now they're doing it in your name. How many of you that voted Democrat in the last election cycle, how many of you want your pre-K child subjected to this? How many? Show of hands. That's what I thought. I can see through the TV, not a single one of you raised your hands. And yet, it's being done in your name. Of course, now, at the end of the day, it's not the only thing that you don't agree with that they're doing in your name. As a matter of fact, this is just one of the agendas nationwide that they are pushing because you either are not paying attention or you don't care enough or you're scared to say something about it. You know, one of the great things, like Marty and I, when you get to the point where you got this, you don't care what they think. You tell it like it is. And at the end of the day, you can rest assured, I'm not going to be one of them. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, pure and simple. Let me get this bottom of the hour break out of the way. Speaking of pushing an agenda, speaking of what they're doing in your name, we'll talk about that when we continue today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Right now, at both locations of Team Honda, the Dream Deal sales event is now even better. For a limited time, get 0% financing on a great selection of certified Hondas. The savings are yours at Team Honda on Siegen Lane in Baton Rouge and Team Honda of Acadiana on I-49 just south of Opelousas.
Hi, I'm Katie, Operation Manager here at Old School Barbecue. We're excited about all of the changes here at Old School, and we'd like to invite everyone to come out and enjoy some delicious barbecue at Old School prices. We feature brisket, chicken, ribs, sausage, and the Boss Hog pulled pork sandwich voted best deal in town. We also have live music Friday and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. 10655 Coursey Boulevard. We can't wait to see you.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Caught spiders?
Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to the Tuesday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. I want to talk to you in this segment about how, if you are not aware, government, particularly liberals, can use you without you even knowing. It has been in recent memory something that, sadly, we've become more and more accustomed to. Mass shootings in this country, particularly involving younger people. Recently, in Virginia, another mass shooting, 3 dead, 2 injured. One of the injured, by the way, from Baton Rouge, former football player at University High. Immediately after this shooting, the White House actually issued a renewed call for an assault weapons ban, saying we need to get these weapons of war off our country's streets. Well, first of all, the shooter, in this case, alleged shooter, used a handgun. It was not an assault rifle. But why let facts get in the way of pushing an agenda? Blah, 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 blah. Thank you, Marty. Here's what you may not know. You've heard me say over and over again, I don't ever want to be accused of telling you what to think. But you can make book on the fact that I'll make you think. The White House says this is another example of why we need to get assault weapons off our streets. When in fact, number one, it was a handgun. But again, don't let facts get in the way of an agenda. I ran across this story a little over a week ago. And because of the volume of stories, because they're tight, because of the volume of stories, we didn't get to it. And I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I may have forgotten about it, wiped it off the tablet, erased it from memory. The left would have you believe that assault weapons, assault rifles, weapons of war, is the greatest threat to Americans. Here's what you may not know. Every year, the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, issues what they call the UCR. Stands for, I started to make a joke, but it's not, so I'll hold on to that. Unified Crime Report. What the FBI does is compile statistics on crimes all across the country, and they then put them into categories. Deaths by rifle, deaths by handguns, deaths by stabbings, deaths by what they call personal weapons. Your hands, your fist, your feet. Let me give you some numbers. According to the UCR report, last year, 447 people were killed with rifles. 461 were killed with hands, fists, and feet. So last year, according to the FBI, not Clarence, the FBI, more people were killed with other people using their hands, their fists, and their feet than rifles. Isn't that something? Let's go back a little further, shall we? 2020, according to the FBI, 454 people were killed with rifles. Meanwhile, 657 were killed by people using their hands, their fists, and their feet. You can't see me moving my foot because it's under the desk. So when are we going to outlaw hands, fists, and feet? Let's go a little further, shall we? 2019. 375 people killed with rifles. 639 were killed with hands, fists, and feet. Starting to see a pattern here? And yet, all you hear from the liberals, the Democrats, the progressives, and those on the left is we need to ban assault weapons. 2021, get this. 447 people killed with rifles. 1,035 were killed using knives or cutting instruments. That's double. When are we going to ban knives and scissors and box cutters? More than double the number of people killed by rifles were killed using knives and other cutting instruments. You see how they play you? If you listen to them, you would think, oh my God, everybody in the country that died, if it wasn't from COVID or the vaccine, wink, wink, they're all killed by rifles. Nope. More people The last 3 years, in some cases, more than double in 1 year, killed by hands, fists, and feet. But the White House couldn't wait. As soon as the story broke of the shooting with a handgun, by the way, not a rifle, they couldn't wait to issue the call to ban assault weapons. Now, listen, y'all. I've been covering this stuff for so long. I know how stupid these people are. But what is particularly disturbing is how stupid they think you are. You see what they can do when you exhibit certain levels of stupidity? Apparently, and this is the federal government, mind you, that puts out the Unified Crime Report. They told us how many people were killed with rifles, how many people were killed with knives, how many people were killed with hands, fists, and feet. But they think you stupid. They told you the numbers. And yet, they will still do stuff like, we need an assault weapons ban. The only question at some point, I guess, becomes, are you really as stupid as they think you are? Marty just said, yep. The numbers are what the numbers are. The FB freaking I gave us the numbers. And the White House, aside from getting it totally wrong about the type of weapon used, never let that get in the way of pushing an agenda. But my fellow Americans, this can only happen if we allow it to. If you take what the White House says at face value without doing any research on your own or watching the Clarence Bugg Show, then you deserve to have your rights and your freedoms and your liberties taken away. The FBI informed us hands, fists, and feet. In a couple of years, more than doubled the amount of people murdered than rifles. And yet, the first thing out of the mouth of the folks in the White House, well, we need an assault weapons ban. And you wonder why, after they told you, well, inflation is transitory. It's just going to be here for a little while. You wonder why this Thanksgiving is expected to be the most expensive in the history of this country. These folk, same ones that told you there's no problem at the border, and now all these blue states are freaking out because Texas is sending folks that, according to Karine Jean-Pierre, are not just walking across the border. You see how they play you? It might be comical if it weren't so sad. It might be comical if there were not so much at stake. But again, my friends, it can only happen if you remain willfully ignorant. Final break of today's show. We'll come back, put that big old pretty bow on this puppy, and wrap up today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Welcome back for the final segment of the Tuesday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. We, after the start of the show, instituted a couple of segments that are a direct reflection of what life has become in our country. One we feature on Tuesdays. That, of course, is Not That's Just Stupid. But another, in an effort to keep you abreast of things that affect you, deals with the relationship between the races. This one is, as it shows on the screen, racism alert. Racism alert. It's systemic. It's everywhere. It's in our culture, our heritage. It's racism. It's behind you. It's underneath you. It's all around you. So CNN recently, after all y'all played the largest Powerball jackpot in history, CNN last Wednesday spoke with some critics that came out and said the lottery, that's right, it's systemic racism. You heard me right. Researchers told CNN that despite the extremely low chance of winning the lottery, states, individual separate states, aggressively market the lottery and sell tickets to low-income communities at higher rates, thus misleading Americans into believing that it will help them get rich quickly. So let me get this straight. Since black folks are at the bottom of the economic ladder, and to get out of their situation, they buy lottery tickets, maybe more so than any other ethnic group. The lottery now is systemically racist. CNN LOL, forgive me. Here's where you have to learn to read between the lines. Let's say, for the sake of the conversation, CNN is 100% correct. States target black and brown communities to spend a disproportionate amount of their money on trying to win the lottery. Scratch-offs, Powerball, the whole nine. Let's say they're right. You do realize, do you not, the overwhelming majority of black folks vote Democrat. The overwhelming majority of black people live in cities and states that are controlled by Democrats. So when you put one and one together, you could very easily and reasonably come to the conclusion that the reason black folks and brown folks spend more money playing the lottery than any other group of people is because they live in cities and states run by Democrats that put them in an economically disadvantaged situation. You never thought about it that way, did you? If all these black and brown folks that are so economically depressed that they have to spend more money per capita than any other group of people trying to win the lottery, maybe they should look at who put them in that situation to begin with. I know, get mad at me if you want for being a thinking person. Get mad at me if you want for calling it like it is. Fact of the matter is, if all these black and brown folks were living in red states, they would be much better off financially. You know what will tell you everything you need to know? CBS, the most liberal outlet out there, well, maybe with the exception of NPR and MSLSD, but I digress. CBS did a poll less than a week before the last election. And their poll said 79% of Americans felt the country was, quote, out of control. When is the last time you remember 79% of Americans agreeing on anything? The CBS poll said 79% of our fellow Americans didn't think things were bad, They said things were out of control. And yet, how many of y'all still voted Democrat? 79% of Americans. And CBS said this, not Fox, not PJ Media, not American Thinker, not Citizen Free Press, CBS. 79% of Americans said the country is totally out of control. Gas prices, food prices, immigration, crime, supply chain crisis, money spent in Ukraine, all of these things. 79% of y'all said the country is totally out of control. And then you turn right around and vote Democrat. Here's a question. What was it like 2 years ago? You could afford gas. You could afford to fill your car up. Didn't think twice. Go to the grocery store, not a problem. And look at where we are now. And if you don't think Americans realize what's going on, this is probably the only time in history I'll ever do this. Just listen to CBS. 79% of y'all said the country is completely out of control. And just about every one of them that was a Democrat still voted that way. Do you really need to wonder why it's out of control? You can take a horse to the water, y'all, but you can't make him drink. Take that horse to the water and try to make him drink, all you're going to do is succeed in drowning the freaking horse. Marty said, all I can do is give you the facts. It's up to you to be intelligent enough to figure out how to use it. My time's up, y'all, and I got to go. But this day, maybe more so than any other in history, I give it to you. You know what? You're spot on. America, we're not perfect. But for this old boy's money, it's the best there is, and God knows there's no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, you realize he loves you, right? And I hope you know that I do too. Then again, there ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. We'll see you soon. God bless.